1,460 hours worth of meditation. Or to be specific, about 4 years every single day of meditating, what it's taught me, what I've learned, and what you could gain from it if you did this much meditation as well. What actually is meditation and how can it benefit you? That's a question that I asked myself a while ago. And I noticed Tony Robbins meditated. When I first got into personal development, about 5 or 6 years ago, I thought, if it's good enough for Tony, it's good enough for me. Anything's good enough for Tony, it's good enough for me. And that's what led me down the road of meditation. But like many people, I was always very ADD. I couldn't focus, I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't read a book, I couldn't do anything that required my focus and my full attention. I would always be doing 7 things at once. And even if you understand something called an Enneagram, on an Enneagram, my number is 7, and 7 usually struggles to do one thing at a time. So my personality is literally the personality who should meditate, but never gets round to it, if that makes sense. But what has all of these hours worth of meditation taught me? And this is a very rough number because some days I meditate twice a day, sometimes I meditate 3 times a day, sometimes I meditate for an hour at a time, sometimes I meditate for half an hour at a time, sometimes I meditate for 10 minutes. So I've taken an average and given myself about an hour of the day to meditation. So that's where I came up with this number. Now I could be slightly over, I could be slightly under, but I do about an hour of meditation at least a day. And that's where I've come up with this number. And by the way, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, join the community. And I'm gonna dive into the top 4 things that I've gained from meditation. Although I don't want you to get fixated on what you can gain from meditation. Because just as my friend Buddha over here was asked by someone, what have you gained from meditation? The Buddha replied, nothing. But let me tell you what I've lost. Anger, anxiety, depression, insecurity, fear of old age, and the fear of death. Meditation brings you back to a place where you remove this negative from your life. It's not necessarily about gaining anything. Although I have gained a lot from meditation, and I truly believe that. But also I've lost a hell of a lot. And those 6 things that the Buddha actually said are the big things that I lost. I used to be extremely anxious every day, fearful of what's gonna happen, fearful of who I'm gonna become, fearful of having to go and do something, fearful of having to go and step outside the norm. I was so scared of everything. Depression, I was scared about myself. I didn't want to live anymore. I didn't want to do anything. Fear of old age and dying, that scared the hell out of me. But now I always say, if I die tomorrow, so be it. I don't want that, obviously I don't want that. I've got so much more to live. I've not even tapped into 1% of my potential, let alone 100%, if that's even possible. It's gonna be one day. But if I've not even reached that far yet, and I can be so grateful for that, then so can everyone else. And I truly do believe that. And I'm not saying this to make myself look good, because I'm not. I'm genuinely doing this to show you the potential that you have, that you can take all these negative things from your life and start to remove them. And don't get me wrong, this didn't happen overnight. As I said, 1,460 hours, I believe that was. Yes, 1,460 hours. It's a lot of hours. Imagine if you lived in Spain for that long, 1,460 hours, you would learn a lot of Spanish in that time. You would. And I really want you to understand the 4th thing, what I got from meditation specifically, because it's not necessarily, it's not a physical thing, but it's an awareness thing. I'm going to explain that at the end, so make sure you stay till the end if you want to understand that and you want to change your life. And also, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you join the community, just so you can get the understandings, just so that you can change your life. And if you do want any help and you want me to help you with hypnosis so that you can fast track your meditation, then drop me a message or head over to my website. So the first understanding that I've actually got from meditation was, why doesn't everyone use this free tool? Why don't we use this free tool? How do we meditate? What do we need for meditation? We need to sit down, we need to be quiet, we need to quiet the mind, we need to close our eyes, we need to breathe. Now there's many different types of meditation. You've got mindfulness, you've got visualization meditation, you've got guided imagery, which is kind of like visualization meditation. Visualization meditation. You've got breathing techniques, you've got transcendental, you've got pranayama, you've got all these different types of meditation. But don't forget the other types of meditation. 50 Cent rapping, he's in a place of meditation because he's just in his element. When you're in the zone, an athlete playing their sport to a very high level, they are in their element. And effectively that is like meditation. Being in the present moment, being here and now. And that's really the most important part of meditation. It doesn't matter how you do it, whether you sit down, whether you walk, because you can do walking meditations as well. Whether you're running around playing a sport, whether you're sitting down, whatever it is, as long as you're present, that's the key. That is the importance of meditation in general. I used to be the type of person that you would never think would ever meditate. I used to get into fights. I used to be very unhealthy. I used to not care about what people think. I used to be very anxious. I used to be very depressed. I used to be very fearful of everything. I used to take drugs. I used to sniff cocaine like 5-6 times a week. You would not assume that I would be the type of person that would meditate. But as I said at the start, when I saw that it was good enough for Tony Robbins, I actually, without realizing, removed my ego and said, well, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. If this multi-billionaire philanthropist, coach, mentor, whatever he does, success coach, can do this and does this, then I can also do this. And that's what really changed it for me, to go from doing it once every few weeks to once a week to once a day to twice a day, and now I can do it at least twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. Even if I'm not feeling it, I do it, and it really is like my breath. And I always say, I used to think people were weird who meditate. I used to think you're hippie, but now I think you're weird if you don't meditate, because it's free to do, and we all have the ability to use it, so why don't we use it? We all breathe every day, but we're not taught how to breathe. And that's the most important thing that I've really come to understand, is we're not taught how to use a tool that will change our life, yet we're taught something about history. And I'm not saying history is a bad thing, but what I'm saying is, in my opinion, because I don't use history whatsoever, I actually tell a lie, I do. Geography, I don't really use geography. If I ever want to find anywhere on a map, I just use my phone, which we now have. We all have the ability of it in our pockets, which we're very blessed for, to find out a specific location and go there. Or I do research and find out what this place is like before I go there. The second thing I want to go into, and this is probably the thing that I've actually gained from meditation, realistically, the only thing I've gained from meditation, is the life I live today. I've gained the ability to be still. I've gained the ability to sort of question things better. I've gained the ability to create my life, to visualize who I wanted to become. And even sitting here to this day, the life that I live, I don't live the most extravagant life yet. I know I'm going to, it's inevitable, because meditation has actually given me that understanding that I will get there one day. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. It might happen tomorrow, it doesn't have to happen. But all these things, from the camera I'm using, to the setup I have for work, to the clients I work with, to the videos I create, that's all come to me during these places of meditation, to say, what is it that I want? Getting crystal clear on who I want to become, the type of person I am. To have the confidence, to be a hypnotist, to be able to change people's lives. That didn't just appear in my life. It took a lot of work, yes, but also the meditation gave me the place to be still enough. And I use the word meditation and self-hypnosis sort of interchangeably. But when I use that word meditation, the meditation itself has given me something to be able to take my life to the next level, to be crystal clear on who do I want to become. But I first had to realize, where was I? I was down and out. I was in a bad place. I was in a very bad place. And that's where it's the most important to start. When everything's going wrong, we have to turn right. We have to start making the right decisions. We have to turn right. We have to make those right decisions and start to change our life from here to here. That's not bad being over here, but the goal is to be here. But first we must be clear on where we are first, on where we are originally, or where we are currently, let's say, where we want to be, and then start to make those shifts in our life. The third thing I've really gained, let's use gained, is the understanding that it really is like drinking water for me. It really is like a glass of water. Nice. Without breathing, we will not live. Without water, we will not survive. Without meditation, we will not thrive. I truly believe that. And like I said, not every meditation necessarily has to be mindfulness meditation, sitting with your legs crossed, going, oh, even though I genuinely like that type of meditation, I do. My favorite and my personal preference is guided imagery, creative visualization, creating my life, know who I'm becoming. Because when you look into the energy that you create, when you get into a still state of mind, so I use sort of mindfulness to start with, to get myself to the present moment, to know that I'm connecting to that unified field that is actually external of me, then I start to create from that place of presence, from that place of where I am, which then takes me on my journey to where I want to be. Now, this doesn't just happen in an instant. Sometimes I have had crazy experiences where things like that have happened, but it doesn't always work like that. If you look back at any of my previous work, It really explains the power of getting present, being still in the moment where we are, even though we don't have those things that we desire, so that we can wipe away from our old self and remove it and create the new self. And then this is where the guided imagery, the creative visualization comes into place, so that I say, who do I want to become? How do I want to carry myself? How do I want to speak? How do I want to come across? Do I want to stand in the middle of the camera like this constantly and just talk like a very moderate tone without making much eye contact, constantly looking around, looking distracted? Or do I want to be able to look at the camera, move myself around and be as much more engaging as I can be? Because that's my goal. I want to be able to engage my audience so that you guys get as much information, so that you actually learn something, but hopefully you're enjoying the process as well. And that's exactly what all of my content is becoming now. I'm starting to do that. But the most important part, and the fourth thing I want to give you in this video, is awareness. Meditation has given me awareness. Awareness of how I feel, when I feel good, when I feel bad, when I feel scared, when I feel courageous, how to shift it from scared to courageous, how to go from anxiety to confidence. It doesn't happen overnight, but I can explain that. And there is a video of me explaining about anxiety up here. But taking myself of where I was to where I am, having that awareness to say, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to change the route. Do you know what? I'm going to try and do this. Why did I feel that way? Why did I feel angry towards that person? Because like I say, it doesn't stop me from feeling angry. It doesn't stop me from feeling scared at all. But what it does stop me from doing is staying in those emotions for the rest of time. I remove myself completely from the old self and step back into the new self of who I am, who I want to be, and where I'm going to go. Awareness is everything. I always say that, awareness is everything. When you're aware of what you're thinking, that's what's gonna manifest in your life. That's what's gonna come naturally. And you know what's gonna happen from the thoughts that you constantly think. When you're awake, when you're tired, when you're in your dreams, when you're asleep, when you're in all different states of mind, what you constantly think about is what you become. With meditation and these 1,460 hours worth of meditation, it's giving me the awareness to realize, who am I as a person? What do I need to do to reach my goals? And there's been times where I've said, I don't want to do something, but then a few months later, I've actually gone out and done it. For example, I didn't want to do hypnosis, or I did all the little silly things where I did an arm wrestle with one of my friends who's an ex-bodybuilder, and I beat him because I hypnotized him to not win. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to tarnish my reputation. But my awareness level said, I've been doing this style of videos for a very long period of time, and I've posted a lot of videos and I haven't had much traction. Let me try something else. What's the worst that can happen? I can always go back to the way I did it before. But that's my awareness level now with these type of things. Comment down below, have you used meditation? Do you use meditation? Have you tried my 30-day meditation and hypnosis challenge? If you haven't, click the link up here and watch the explanation video. But that's what I learned from 1,460 hours worth of meditation. What did you learn from this video? Make sure you subscribe as well.